Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a best of 3 here between Rogue in the bottom right spawning as our red Zerg and Beyond in the bottom left as our blue Terran player playing for the Shopify Rebellion. A best of 3 from the Korean StarCraft League number 70, Korea's premier competition now that the GSL hasn't had a tournament in a little while. We've been relying solely here on the boys from the KSL to give us those highest level of Korean play. And today, Rogue once again participated, and it's a rare sight to behold. He doesn't play everything. He doesn't play every single online cup, but there's a couple that he does enjoy playing. And the KSL is one of them. He plays some of the bigger Wardy Opens as well. I think I saw him active in the Pigsty Cup as well. So he plays actively, but he doesn't participate in every single Open Cup. Very similar to kind of the old school style of pro gamers, honestly. Whenever you had these pro players that were extremely good, they'd almost never participate in all the Open Cups. It feels like the new school boys, think of Clem, MaxPax, they all love playing every single Open Cup. And even some of the older guys nowadays, Dark, Hero, they're practically playing every single tournament that exists. It doesn't matter if it's for $10, for 5,000, they're going to be there and they're going to be giving their A game. And Broke is one of these dudes that is a little bit more picky. He's not quite Sero or Maru, whom we hardly ever see in online competitions. Only the biggest, the highest level of online competitions, when there's serious cash and serious prestige on the line, they'll show up. But for the $200 cup, I don't even think Sero puts his alarm for that, if I'm being real honest with you. Beyond, however, also one of the dudes that loves playing in everything possible. Oh my god, this is a beautiful build order, Beyond. I think this is one of the most underrated things that Terran players do. And I'm almost sad about it, that more Terran players don't do this. And Beyond right now is doing it because, well, this is very close to a gold base. It's going to be very powerful. But how frequently, realistically, do we see Zergling floods out of Zerg players at the highest level? I think it is less than 3% of all games where we see an early game Zergling flood in the first 4 minutes. Zergs don't scout the third base position very frequently with anything. And Hellions are out as well, so low amounts of Zerglings can actually just be stopped fairly simply as well. This thing finishes so freaking fast, this CC. It's like 4 minutes in, it's already done. So I'm really shocked to not see this more frequently. Because if you build it in your main base, which is the standard, it then has to fly over. It takes about 25 to 30 seconds. And you could say, well, Harstem, why does it matter? Look at this. He's not even oversaturated yet in this base. That's true, but the moment you're flying, you can't be building SCVs. So if you build it in your main base, it means you have 2 less workers. This is a very economical play. On top of that, you can also, if there's a gold base, start saturating that a little bit faster. So very cool play out of Beyond. I've seen Gumiho do this once or twice. Gumiho also loves it in TVT and Terran versus Protoss. Least frequently used in the Terran versus Zerg matchup. But yeah, one of these things is the same with the Ravens, you know? Why don't Terran players build Ravens more frequently against Zerg? No one knows. And now we have another one. It's like, why don't Terran players build their third CC on location more frequently? If the actual Zergling flood frequency is like, let's call it 3 to 5%, then I think we should be seeing this at least 10% of the games. And I think it's less than 1% where we see the third CC on location in Terran versus Zerg. Now that we've flamed Terran players a little bit, let's actually go into the openers over here. We have 6 cars initially. Do we have more on the way? No, it's going to be a 6-car opener with a double Banshee, no cloak. This is a Beyond special. It allows him to have a little bit more gas early on. It saves him 100 minerals as well. So you have this really smooth transition into your mid game where you have 100 extra gas, easier upgrades. You can maybe afford a quicker tank as well. All of those types of things are just going to flow really smoothly. So a fairly economy-focused opener here with that low ground CC, the skip on the Banshee cloak, does mean that Banshees have less potential to deal damage, significantly less potential. On the other hand, nowadays, let's face it, Zerg players always have their lair done. They have an Overseer ready. Like, how much more damage is this Banshee going to deal because it's invisible? Majority of the time, not that much. It's more about the initial fly-in, in which Cloak is very useful, so you can hide where you're going. If the initial Queen split of the Zerg isn't good enough, then that could be a big thing. But look at this. triple overseers are still being built here for our good friend Rogue. And that makes a lot of sense because Rogue doesn't know whether this is cloak or not. So we still have the defensive investment, but Beyond did not actually invest into the aggression. We're going to have our Ling run by over here, hitting that third base. Hellions are not nearby. SCVs will need to actually evacuate here for a little bit as 2 workers end up falling. Hellions are going to surround this. Could perhaps get quite a few kills here. I mean, killing 2 workers but losing 10 Lings is not entirely worth it, I don't think. You're also cutting workers in order to build those Lings, of course. Banshees, meanwhile, hitting the main base. Double Spores in position to deal with it. This was some absolutely atrocious control out of Beyond as he loses 1 Banshee. And the second one only at 24 HP remaining. Rogue does not want to chase it all the way to the cliff for whatever reason. And as a result, Beyond's going to be capable of escaping over here. Armory comes in. This almost feels like an ADREX setup, by the way. Can I say that? Yeah. It feels, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Of course. Why not? Because why wouldn't you? You have that very high mineral count. You need less workers for full saturation if you have a gold as well. So going for an ADREX behind this, to me, makes a lot of sense. Let's see if Rogue, A, is aware of that, and B, is kind of taking the right measures, going for the correct response here. Rush distance on this map is tiny, by the way. You know what would be sick? Is to have an elevator over here. A tank down here. Like, that covers a lot of area. A lot of area. And you can always micro back to it. Would be such a safe position. Like, freaking tank over here. That's banging, man. You could also mine this out. Start hitting this general area. Difficult to flank, too. But Beyond here for now, it's just pretty much set up in the middle. We have Rogue with a tiny bit of a supply block. 129 out of 126. It's building 5 more Overlords. 1-1 hasn't even finished yet for him. Those are late upgrades, but Beyond is also pushing out his upgrades at a fairly high pace. We have 1 more tank in the back. Baneling's trying to connect their target fire of the tanks is very good. Phenomenal stuff. 1k in the bank for Beyond, who could easily throw down a command center if he wanted to, but he says no. If I don't have a fort base, then I feel the pressure of bad economy, and then I'll be more aggressive. I might micro better. As I say that, he throws down his fort base, so not entirely accurate. We have an infestation pit, no hive, 1-1 upgrade, no vipers on the way. Like, it isn't even Beyond who's on a timer right now. I actually think Rogue is on a timer because he's not teching, and Beyond is also up in supply. So that is a very scary position to be in as the Zerg. You have a lot of Marines off creep on top of that. Tanks are being taken out, but it won't be enough as Rogue taps out with a GG, and El Dorado will go to Beyond. Second map of the day is going to be Talisman. PT Talisman. I don't know what the PT stands for, but it is called Talisman. And this is one of the absolute coolest things that a lot of tournaments have been doing, and especially the KSL has been great about this, is implementing new, more experimental maps into the map pool, and I've been loving it. This particular map, you look in your natural, like, Harstem experimental, this map? God, you have to be the absolute most conservative person into the entire world if you think that is experimental. But then, boom, look at that. You look over at the alternative natural, and you see, wait, where the hell did he come from? Did he walk through this, the drone? I think so. So I guess there's like a little drone path, but just for drones. I don't think units can walk in here. This is a kind of an 8-patch mining base with 4 gold patches and 4 regular mineral patches. So that means it plays out very, very differently from anything else. Also, you can't easily defend this, but you also can't super easily attack this. Then you have a 3x3 base over here. Like, this entire map is freaking bonkers, and I love it. The layout of it is also very different. We have a rich Vespine geyser base over here, but this is extremely open. Some neat tank positions. I do believe... Do you think you can put a tank up here? Hell yeah, you could. This is not a forbidden area. That looks like a crazy good spot. Freaking tank up here. Now you shoot really far. Buff. Tank down here. Man, that's powerful too. Lots of good tank spots. But overall, mining-wise, a good, a good map for tank. I want to see what the hell happens here with this drone. Lol. What the hell? It has to like kind of wiggle through. Look at this. It does slow them down. It's like an obstacle course for a drone. That's crazy. This is the first game I'm going to see on this map. I didn't know we were going to play on the cool maps. Freaking sick, man. There's a couple of things. You know how some people, they'd get like a time machine, they like shoot Hitler or something. I'd go back like 8 years and tell people that experimental maps are cool. No one would listen to me. It would be a wasted time machine opportunity. If you have a time machine, you can just do it multiple times. I guess if it's like a one-time use time machine, then it would be probably a crazy misuse of resources. I do two things. Number one, I go back, tell them experimental maps are cool. Number two, buy a lot of Bitcoin, Harstem. A lot of I don't think I would believe it. I don't think I would. I think I would be getting tricked if some future Harstem would come into a time machine to talk to me. And especially because I used to be against experimental maps when I was a young boy as well. When I was like 16 or 17, I was like, experimental maps? What are you, crazy? I don't even like standard maps. I hate all maps. Why would I want to experiment with them? But now that I'm old and wise, I've seen the mistakes of the past that I've made, you know? It's important to call them out as well. That's what I would do. I'd go back in time to lecture myself. God, what a misuse of resources. What the hell are these rocks, though? You have 8 debris. They can all... 7, I can't count. That can all be attacked by attacking 1. It's because they have a lot of empathy. This is what we call the empathy debris. If one of them gets attacked, they're all in super pain. Hate to see it. That's a very bad characteristic to have. You know these people with the super empathy, you know, they see someone else cry and they start crying themselves? I don't trust them. I always feel like there's something wrong with them. Oh, there's definitely something wrong with them, but I also don't trust them. I don't think there's actually people that, you know, they can feel that much for others. Although I do have it when I see people lose a StarCraft game in a bad way, especially Protoss players. Like you barely miss like the Banshee flying by on the map. I cry a little bit on the inside as well. Like that could make me smash a desk. And I'm not much of a desk smasher in general. Either way, StarCraft time. I'm sorry. That's a lot of rambling. Lots of yapping today. We have some Banshees, we have some Cloakers, and we have a third CC. We're gonna get the Cloakers this time, I guess. Same exact build order as last game. I can't blame the guy. He won the game. Very cool to see. Double Evo Chamber. So we do have a change up here out of Rogue. Double Evolution Chamber. While previously I think he went for a much faster layer and then kind of delayed his upgrades. I personally prefer this. This is worse against Quick Cloak. So he's picking the wrong builds for the game. Like this would have been great last game when there was no Cloak. And then now he probably would have liked to have a fast layer because then you get that Overseer and you can pop, 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 pop off, you know. 9 more drones on the way for Mr. Rogue. Has insane freaking Overlord spread, by the way. Look at it, he's like double. Like double vision. This guy's crazy. I heard Rogue wears 2 glasses as well in case the first one don't function. Classic Rogue. What a machine. It's like if he doesn't pay attention to the minimap for like 12 seconds. That's what the second Overlord is for. Just in case. Absolute beast. Bailing Nest over here in the main base. Lair coming in as well right now. It's going to be a little bit late. This is also a typical Rogue move. Just sending links in to kill stuff. It's always worth it when Rogue does it. Even when it isn't. It's just worth it because he kind of plants the seed in his opponent's mind, you know? It's like, hey, I can do stuff with run-bys. And you're just going to keep like your Hellions at home or like defensive positions. Like Marines are kind of like in between bases. More empathy debris. Being taken out. Ooh, we have Burrow being rushed out. That's one of these things that you almost never see. E-Laser frequently does that. Broke also is adding in 2 more hatcheries. I love that. And a 3rd extra hatchery. So really 3 more hatcheries. I'm surprised to not have one of the main base ones be over here. I guess he evaluated that as a weak position maybe. He's up to 75 workers. So this guy's a machine when it comes to macro. Absolute macro beast. Overseer coming out. For the people that don't know, Rogue has like this very peculiar late game style in which he masses Overseers. He'll build legit like 50. Hundreds of them. No problem. Goes freaking bananas. When it comes to the Overseer. There's a lot of links out, by the way. 52. 6 Banes as well. 21 Mariners. 2 tanks. Dude, Rogue's army just looks huge. He also still has 900 in the bank, despite building triple hatches. How is he doing this? Did he skip some queens? No, he's 8. Oh, right, he has the... I was like, man, how is this possible? He has the freaking gold base as his natural. All right. That will do it. That actually will do it. He's gonna take another gold base now as well. I was like, man, this makes no sense. Like, he's done nothing special this game, and he really hasn't. But Bian also hasn't done anything special, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe he should have done something special. Maybe we should have tried to deal some more damage there, brother. Follow-up actually is once again Atrax. He just plays the exact same strategy again, but this time the opponent is the one with the gold. We're going to get a big fat flank over here. Hellions are blocking some of these links, making sure that the tank can't just get knocked out, but it doesn't matter. Dude, he had so many units. This was pre-combat shield as well. Oh, Bion's in a world of trouble right now. Bion is in so much freaking trouble. I don't want to say he's dead, but he's freaking dead. He's down like 30 supply. If you're 8-rexing someone and the other dude feels like the mental space to build 10 more drones and an infestation pit, it's not a great sign, let me tell you. It's really not a great sign. It's like if you're... what do you call it when you do the arm wrestling? Yeah, doing like a fat arm wrestling match. And you see the other guy just starts jerking off in the middle. I was like, what? How does he have the mental energy for that? It's like, I'm not sure if that's the correct play to do while you're arm wrestling, but it is a baller move to go for it, you know? Just stares you down. Like, whoa. Calm down, brother. This is not what I signed up for. It's a whole different type of ball game. Hive starts here as well. He's also just adding more hatcheries. You know what would be cool? 4 more hatcheries right now on the map. You know what I really need is 10 more larvae a minute. There we go. I mean, he's fighting off creep at this point as well. He's not even really pre-2-2. Like, this is an absolute disrespect. He's just sending it. There you go. GG gets called. And the series is 1-1. And in game number 3, we're back to Ley Lines out of the regular map pool. Definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite altogether. What is Beyond doing? Oh, what? Really? CC first. Oh, we're seeing some wild stuff here today. Command center first. He used to love this build back in the day. I say back in the day, I mean like last year. I remember when we were practicing together when we were in Canada. And I just see him play CC first legit every single game. CC first, barracks, reactor first. This guy's a machine when it comes to making weird gambles. The thing with Be Honest is he's kind of like a teenage girl with build orders. Like, he really goes through like massive phases, and then he's like, that's it, you know, it's just the one thing. And it's like, oh, that's not cool anymore. You know, it's out of fashion. We're gonna play something else now. And then he just never look back. He's like, he's wild like that. Okay, he's very extreme in his StarCraft 2 beliefs. He's an extremist, a radicalist, fundamentalist, fundamental build changer. That's what he is. He's crazy. Yeah, we're lucky, my dear friends, that he got into StarCraft. Okay, very, very lucky. And he didn't start caring massively about like some geopolitical conflict, because he'd be on the barricades, all right. It's freaking insane. See, reactor first. He was legit playing this every single game a year ago. Year and a half, maybe. I remember that period. It's a weird period in time. Reactor first, into tech lab first. So you have no units for 2.5 minutes. So you hope your opponent doesn't attack you for 2.5 minutes. And then after that, like, you're popping off like there's no tomorrow, let me tell you. Like, you've been saving all of the economy up. And it just comes out all at once. It's crazy. Here we have queens popping as well. Was this fast speed? It feels quick. No. 30 seconds ago, 2:11. Oh, that's fast. Oh, that's kind of fast. Pian's also going to go into 2-on-1 here from this. He used to actually play this build and then go into 2 base all-ins. And those 2 base all-ins would never end. Like, you'd be watching like a 23-minute game and it would just be a 2 base all-in. They would continue on and off, like 3-3 upgrades. Sometimes his 2 base all-ins would have a 3rd base, but they really, you know, it's like if you build a 3rd base like at 24 minutes, it's still a 2 base all-in, really, realistically. Like, we're not counting that. It's a crazy speedling rush with only 3 links. It's a wild move here. Not one that you frequently see. Usually when people rush out speed as quickly as this man did, they at least try to do something. Or whether there's like, even if it's just sniping a mule, you know, it's like, come on. Put in some effort, brother. But no. Rogue doesn't want to put in any effort. He's back to droning, queening up. The problem with this build, and the problem with all marine builds, by the way, this is not just like, oh, CC first is bad. No. There is something wrong with all marine builds, and that is that they have a fixed response, you know? There is no ambiguity as to what you need to do. There is a perfect drone count that you need to hit. There is a perfect queen count that you need to hit. And there's a perfect setup. Basically, for the first 5 minutes, there's nothing you need to worry about. And then you need to do a couple of things very, very right for like 30 seconds. And then after that, I don't want to say that the game is decided, but we will have a good clue as to who is winning in the game. So Beyond is moving out right now. Like, this should be the warning sign most likely. Like, freaking alarm bells. Like, we see instant like 12 links coming out. He's adding in more queens as well. All queens being pulled forward as well. We want a ling over here. We want a ling over here. And we want a ling over here. And we want this freaking overlord to be sent back home to his mom. This overlord to stay here. This overlord maybe a little bit further on creep next to the many mamas here. 6 mama queens. More links on the way. Carapace. This is a very reasonable response out of a very reasonable person. Combat shield hasn't started yet. Look at that. We have a 3rd barracks on the way. What does that tell us? Most likely that Beyond is going to go for, indeed, that world famous 2-base all-in. Okay, overlord's being taken out. That's what I'm telling you. Need to pull that back a little bit further. Did one queen die there? That looks like the body of a queen, no? No, it's just the overlord. Man, queens and overlords look alike. Hate to say it. We have a Baling Nest now coming in, so just Carapace, single Evo into Baling Nest. Look how conservative this response is. Whoa, not even a 4th hatchery yet. He's floating a bit of cash, so maybe we're going to see like 2 more hatcheries in the main base. We have a Spore out as well, which is nice. I like that. This was not criticism. This was admiration. It's like, oh, nice, a Spore in the main. So a drop in the main is not really one of the possibilities here. We have 2 more barracks coming in as well out of Beyond, as he starts roaming around the map. Our rocks are being taken out. Double expand is what I'm expanding. It's what I'm expecting here. Why am I expecting that? Because if Beyond then attacks the right side, you still have the left side. And you don't really have to commit to defending this, and vice versa. So this is something to keep in mind. Something double expanding sometimes is the safe play, not the economy-based play. There's a lot of queens. How many queens does my man have? 9. He's building 2 more. For the kids counting along at home, that's 11. We now centrifugal hooks, 25% down. Probably want to wait for at least your Carapace before you go in. There we go. Carapace now is about to finish up. Here comes the fight. Baning's far in the back though. Whoop! These guys are gonna hit. No, they're not. Tanks will die though. Very unfortunate. Now I'm expecting a round of drones. Not like a crazy round of drones, but 5 or something. Is that too much to ask? I think it might be too much to ask. We definitely need 5. 49 is a very low drone count. Not a fan of that. Resource lost overall is favoring Beyond. That's going to continue for quite a while. Terran units are simply better in this stage of the game. Or at least more efficient. Not sure if better is the correct word. We have a 4th base here now coming in. Oh, here comes the queens. Here don't come the queens. Did I get a right click here on something? I don't think so. He's actually in a bit of trouble. We have a nice Ling flank coming in though. This position is wild too. Oh, target's down 3. That was very solid micro. Look at that. What are kills on this tank? 17 kills on the tank, but there's a couple of Marines in there. Yeah, freaking 5 kills on you. Love to see it. 4 kills. Some Banelings in there too. Baneling count was pretty high there. We have a Changeling now showing up. These positions are wild. These positions are absolutely wild. Beyond is making something happen here. And it's not like Rogue is on 70 workers, so he's eventually going to outproduce him like crazy. Like, he's getting 400 or 500 minerals more a minute. He needs more efficient trades. 5k versus 2.6? That's a 2-to-1 ratio. It's not something that I'd like to see if I'm the Zerg player. It is something I often see, though, when I'm the Zerg player, because my trades are god-awful. Absolute dog water. This base is gonna fall, which is why you have the alternative 4th base. It's a classic move. I don't actually think you want to try and defend this, if I'm being real honest. I think we're kind of fine giving up this position. Maybe we should have given up earlier already, because we took an atrocious fight over here. We do have a Link run by now being set up. I'm a fan of this. Banelings are being targeted down. Link's trying to get into the main base. Clearing so many depots though. That is a big, big blow. You'll have to rebuild those. Reinforcements are going to be afraid for at least a little bit. I still believe that adding like 4 drones here would have actually have a big, big impact. I know that sounds stupid, but I think 4 drones add a lot in this type of situation where you're going to be mineral starved for such a long time. I really do believe it helps. Rogue is setting up an attack and a half. Please wait for carapace +2. Yes, he did. It's going to be +2 carapace versus 1-1. Beyond is kind of smelling this though. You see that? He's like moving all the way off creep. This is a wild dropping position. This entire sequence of how he moved is insane. Like up here, then to the right, and now like kind of attacking the natural. Here comes the attack. This is off creep. Can we get a stim? Yes, we can. Target fire on these banes is not very good at all. It's not enough medevacs to pick all of this up. Tanks are going to fall. This was a very good trade here for Rogue. Almost efficient, but mainly taking out the tanks is what I care about. Taking out the tanks is such a big deal because that's where a lot of the power in these pushes is. +2 attack now starts for Beyond. 9 minutes in. Oh, we're running towards the 22 minute. Oh, we're absolutely swimming there, my dear friends. A lot of work is on the natural. Main base still a little bit oversaturated as well. Only 4 mineral patches, and these are about to mine out. At some point, this third base will need to float over here. Don't forget that Beyond is theoretically on a timer, especially now the extra workers have been built. 64 to 45. Beyond's going to clear a couple at least. Queen's moving in for it as well. With the +2 carapace, by the way, are quite tanky, especially against these Marines. Not super tanky against the tank necessarily. Rogue going for a bit of a wild play here off creep. Yeah, Beyonce is going to snipe 3 Banes, then pick up and drop. See if we can get anything done here. It's going to have another chance at clearing perhaps one of these Banelings, maybe 2. Medevac almost dies, but not quite. At the same time, we have a drop down here. +2 carapace is freaking huge in this case, by the way. I love that he went for +2 carapace rather than +1 melee before the +2 armor. Very good call here out of Rogue. Definitely showing that he knows what he's up to. Rogue ready to bust this down. Has 4 more Baners on the way. Probably needs a couple more Baners here on the left side as well. Here's what, 12? It's not enough. 6 on the right, 12 on the left. Not loving this. Going in with the links first as well. That means you get a warning before you engage. If the Banelings would have just gone in, they would have actually killed it. Even now, they still get the clear. A lot of Banes with a tank on the low ground here. This bad boy with 30 kills. Yes, kind of cray-cray. Melee level 1 about to finish up. At this point, by the way, I wouldn't have minded if Rogue had just given up this base. Saying, hey, that base is fun and all, but let me just move to the right side. Let me see if I can take it over there. I am out-mining you. You're going to need to take a third base at some point. Main base, pretty much dry. It's going to be a big drop in income here soon, because the natural is also drying up. Like, we're going to be at like 900, 1100 minerals a minute for our boy Beyond. Which means that if Rogue just manages to hold on for a little longer, despite the supplies being really bad right now, if Rogue just managed to hold on a little longer, like that income is going to, like, that is double. That is doubling here right now. Look at that. 2400 versus 900. This is not good. Yes, this base is going to probably get denied. This base is also kind of emptying up, but we have more patches still for Rogue, because he mined the outside faster than the inside. Look at this. Still 6 patches here as well. He can give this up. He doesn't actually need to defend this. As long as the third is mining and the natural is mining, he's going to be out-mining his opponent by quite a little bit. Beyond here desperately needs to start making some plays. He does have the +2 attack upgrade, which is huge. Can we get a target fire here on those Banes? Apparently we can't. Gonna get a pickup. Both of these are actually gonna get left behind. Very unfortunate. Marines redrop. This base has been taken out. We have 91 supply to 120. So that's a big deal. 12 minutes in. According to the lore, we have at least 9 more minutes in store for us here. Let's see if we're gonna make it. Okay, a couple drones are falling. That is frustrating, and on top of that, this base is also mining right now. Rogue, though, he smelled that, and he's sending the links over. It's like, hey, buddy, now that there's an outside base, you probably need to keep more defenses at home. Please keep the links alive. He does. Can always send them back in later as Banes as well. Let's not forget about that. Rogue right now about equal in income. So this third base, actually, if Beyond just hangs out right now, does a lot of dropping, and mines from the third, he should be fine. If Beyond moves across, or if these Banelings get connections. then maybe Beyond is not as fine anymore. This medevac is going to get taken out as well. Not a whole lot that Rogue can do about it. Here we go. Let's take a first-person look for Beyond. What are you up to? Does he take a look at the minimap? He's not looking. He's not looking. Oh, that's going to be like minus 15 workers. Minus 9. Oh, it's going to lose a couple more. At the same time, Marines falling as well. That was a very unfortunate sequence of looking here for our boy Beyond. 29 workers left over against 47. This base is back up. This is an absolutely crazy game. This entire series has been phenomenal. Despite the build orders being fairly bland, the execute, like Rogue just plays a pretty freaking fun StarCraft. And he's just phenomenal. More Banelings coming in on the right side. Melee level 2, about to finish up as well. I'm still not quite sure who's winning here. Like, we're one good fight away from kind of a sweep. We have no SCV production behind us anymore. He built 5 more, then quit. Beyond that is, okay, here we go. Banelings coming in. Because the army value is really not that bad for Rogue. You do have an attack over here on the top side. 3 drones being taken out. That is a big, big deal. Because there's not that many drones in advantage anymore for our boy Rogue. Does have this base, which has many, many patches. This base has no patches. I mean, Beyond is mining from like 9, 10 patches. At this point, Banelings once again don't get the connections. I don't think Rogue is actually making it. I don't think Rogue is going to be capable of holding on here. It just does not have enough stuff. Here comes the Ling Bane though. Oh, I like this run by. Ah, it's going to split off. This is a good split off. That was a nice split off. 8 worker kills. 8 worker kills. Okay, if we survive 1 more minute, maybe. It's going to get 2 more Marines here as well. That sounds silly, but it's actually a pretty big deal. Every Marine right now is going to matter. What's the Baneling count on the right? It's still good. We still have 13 Banelings, 5 more on the way. You have a Ling, which is going to try to activate this thing. Come on. Oh, you need to activate it. You need to activate it at the same time. We have an attack over here. This is big. This is big. SCVs need to pull away. Do not pull away. 4 workers go down. It's 44 to 24. 84 supply to 95. Banelings moving in forward as well. Queens are hitting the meta. It's really hard to say who's winning. Because we have some mines in the mix right now, which are going to be wild cards. The problem for Beyond is that a lot of his army consists of medevacs. He has 11 medevacs. Those don't fight. I think I don't know if he's dead. Gonna have another run by. I love this base. That's a crazy base to take if you don't have any cash. And you know you're under heavy attack. But it's correct because this base most likely is gonna fall. He says, hey, you can take my base if I can take every single worker. I think that's what that is a trade. That is a trade for sure. If he gets it, it would be a crazy trade. Okay, we're going to get that mine. Doesn't hit. Oh no, he missed it. He thought it already hit. This mine could be game changing. It's not gonna hit at all. So it's not game changing. At the same time, we have a fight over here. I'm not sure what's happening, but Beyond is surviving over there. 14 SCVs have fallen. It's 9 workers to 37. That means that even these 4 patches here, 3 patches up here, and the patches up here are going to be good enough for mining for Rogue. He does not need the left side right now. It is... Whoa. I did not think he was going to leave. Because he was tripling his opponent's income. What the hell? This isn't such... Nah, it's a pretty big army, I guess. What is it? 8 Marauders, 23 Marines, 20 things. Okay, maybe it's fair. Maybe it's fair. Maybe I'm the idiot. This was a crazy game, though. Absolutely bonkers. Loved it. Good series overall. All right, it's going to be 2-1 in favor of Beyond. And that's going to be it for me today, my dear friends. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, as it helps me a lot. Love you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.